What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Urban Wall Street Project. I'm your host, Earl Christian III, of course. And today I have a very special guest co-host in the house with me, and she's going to, exchange this conversation. We're going to talk about something. Today's topic is adversity. Is it your struggle or your strength? Me personally, I like to take adversity and turn it into a strength. But I know it's not always that easy for everybody. A lot of us may not be as optimistic as I may be or your next person. But we're going to talk about why your adversity may be your struggle, why it may be your strength, on how we can make your struggle your strength, and how you can grow from it and get something positive from it. So without further ado, I'm definitely going to begin this, and I want to introduce my beautiful co-host for today, Miss Shaila Tyler. Shaila, how are you, pretty lady?
Nice.
So I'm happy to have you here.
Thank
This
you.
is the first for the Urban Wall Street Project. We're going into our third season or fourth, and we're just doing different things. So it's cool to get a female's perspective that's not specifically a guest, and let's talk about a specific topic.
Right.
I like the particular topic because I'm all about consciousness for urban America and awareness. And you gave me a topic you wanted to talk about, and I really appreciate it and I liked it. Thus, we're going to talk about the adversity that some people seem to have. Unfortunately, we all have adversity sometime, but what determines our character and who we are is whether we recognize it as a struggle, as a strength, and we utilize our strength to get through the struggle. I talk about it all the time. So, since you like that, how do you feel about it? Adversity, is it your struggle or is it your strength?
Thank goodness it has been my strength. But I do see, just living, in a typical urban neighborhood, I do see that a lot of times it's not everybody's, strength. And a lot of people take it and use it as an excuse to the reason why they live the way they do, or the reason why they can't get anywhere, or can't get jobs, or can't move on. And to me, it's, I want to say I've been there. I've had my struggles, and everyone has, regardless of what depth it is.
Right.
Some people's struggles are way more intense than others. But I've been there.
Right.
So, sometimes I get a little angry because I'm like, why?
Definitely.
It's not an excuse,
It's definitely. And like you said that, you said a lot of people, when we was coming up with the topic, people use it as a crutch. And I say, and a crutch is good because, but a crutch should never be permanent. Because if you're, say you're 210 pounds and you break your leg, you're going to have a crutch to walk on. That crutch is going to support your body. But if once you break your leg, you just decide not to exercise or not to be agile or mobile, and you just want to start eating and be depressed, and you allow that weakness of your leg to become your struggle, your adversity, and then you just want to lean on that crutch and eat and not do anything. Well, now you go from being 200 pounds maybe to 300 pounds, and that crutch that was holding that weight up can no longer hold you up. And that could kind of happen in your real life. When you put your life on crutches or intangible crutches, you have to be really conscious of, is this crutch going to be able to maintain this level of struggle I'm going through? Is this crutch going to be able to maintain this adversity? Is there a way to lighten the load on this crutch? Because this is a real situation. A lot of people have done that, and they find themselves unable to overcome their adversities. Have you ever experienced anybody or any scenarios where individuals utilize it as a crutch? Because I know this topic was kind of poignant to your heart, so you may have a story to tell us.
It was. I don't have a personal story, but I have stories just as far as people in my environment. And it may not be the closest of friends. They may just be associates or coworkers or anything. Or even sometimes working in a very public service orientated job. I'm constantly interacting with customers or clients or, marketing representatives. You get, those people who come in to the showroom that I work in. It's a showroom. And, they want a job or they want to do other things. But you can tell just by their aura that it's kind of like, well, I'll apply for the job, but I'm not going to get it.
Right.
Because they have, whatever they feel like their particular, let's say, situation is, they feel like this is where I am because, I'm going through this, or because, I don't have the money to do this, or I can't go to school, or no one's helping me. And personally, I've been there. I've been,
definitely, we all have.
I have to do things by myself, and sometimes I get angry. I say, nobody's, people always, it's always everyone else from outside that's looking in and kind of being very judgmental. And from my take on that was, I actually looked at myself and said, you know what, never be judgmental on people, and if somebody needs you, just help them out.
Exactly.
But I don't have any particular personal story. I just think that it's time to stop using it as an excuse. Get up. Do what you got to do.
And it's important, exactly, because the reality, excuses are like, We all know the phrase. We all have one. You know what I'm saying? So they only go but so far. But I mean, I understand, you know, in today's climate, you know, how times and adversity can strike individuals. And unfortunately, you know, I wish everybody possessed, you know, the ability to pull themselves up out of adversity. I mean, I like to believe that everybody does have it. I think that many people may not know how to identify it because maybe they don't have that support system, or maybe they don't have that encouragement. So it's that environment. And the adversity becomes a living thing, almost breathes, and they start diffusing themselves or telling themselves what they can't do or talking themselves out of opportunities. And the one thing I see amongst people is a lot of individuals they take themselves out of the game. They allow adversity to win so much. We're like, I don't even make no sense for me to try that. Right. And I want people to know there's nothing that you should not do. If there's anything that you want to do with your life, you can do it. I mean, adversity is a serious situation, but, you know, I mean, I think it's what you make of it. You know, I mean, adversity could be having to get up and find a job, and you don't have a degree. Adversity could be trying to raise a child on your own, and you don't have a job. Adversity could be trying to be a teenage parent, and the spouse, the girl walked out or the boy walked out. There's a variety of different forms of adversity, but I think what builds us is how we bounce back from that adversity. Every single person, you know, experiences adversity, and I want you to know that. Every single person experiences adversity, but it's how do you address it? So a lot of times people say, well, you know, you always seem so upbeat. And when I see you, you know, we spoke in the past, and you always have such a positive attitude. So from individuals out here, I wanted to kind of make like a little learning lesson seminar. How do you maintain your level of upbeatedness? That's my word I'm going to make up right now. Yes, I did that, upbeatedness, okay? When faced with adversity, what's some of the tools and tactics that you utilize that you think might help individuals paying attention or watching who may go through some similar situations? Well,
you have to first be prepared for any adversity because it's going to come.
Right.
It may come blindsided. You know, you may be unconscious to it. You may be conscious to it. It may be visible. You have to kind of say to yourself, okay, I'm willing to accept any adversity, but be stronger than it. You kind of have to keep moving on. So to me, that's number one that you have to do.
Right.
In terms of that, after you've definitely figured that out, then you have to change your environment. You know, sometimes, you know, it's harsh. Sometimes it's sad. You have to leave some people behind, but there's different growth rates, and everybody grows at a different time. Everybody's outlook is different. So you have to have good energy around you. You have to have good people around you, people who, you know, want some type of success in their life. And I'm not talking about success determined in, you know, conventional cultural ways. I mean success in terms of whatever makes you happy, what makes you joyous every day. You know, if it's something that you think about that you can do later, even if you have the worst job in the world, you know, sometimes just thinking about that one good thing can say, you know what, today my day is going to be really good, and nothing's going to mess that up. To me, those are the two things you have to do. Definitely be prepared for it and surround yourself with great people that have good energy and that are joyous. And once you do that, you know, everything else falls into place because you're secure about it. You're prepared for it. So it no longer becomes this tagging little nagging thing on the side.
Exactly. Now, you definitely said some very remarkable points, and I'm hoping my people, you're paying attention. But I want to ask you, so, you know, when we deal with people, you know, we always hear people's different stories, and so many people go through trials and tribulation and adversity. Adversity to me is just, adversity for me, it just means an obstacle. It's something in the way. And if something's in the way, you can go around it, you can move it, you can go over it, maybe you have to go under it. But there's always a way. What do you think lends to such adversity in urban America? And when I say adversity, because adversity is there, or what do you think lends to us not being able to overcome our adversities in a manner that is conducive for our prosperity?
I actually think, like I stated before, that it becomes a cultural convention.
Right.
And I think that it becomes very repetitive and everything is the same all the time. And it's almost like, I almost want to say it's like a dictatorship. You know, I'm one of those type of people who believe everything's a dictatorship, no matter how free you think you are. And, you know, it's kind of impounded out there so much that this is how you're supposed to live. These are the things you're supposed to do. This is what's moral, you know. This is how you're supposed to talk or supposed to act or whatever it is, that people who don't grasp that, they kind of rebel. And they either rebel in a positive way where they take it and they say, no, I don't have to live your way. I can live my way and still be happy. Or they repel in a negative way and they say, so what, I don't, live your way, I'm living my way, and it becomes more of an aggressive, negative, violent type of thinking.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And that's what, we talk about it, so many times with individuals. They call me sometime and they're going through different things, or, they watch the show and they become inspired. And that's one of the greatest things that I like about the fact that I do my show, and people watch and they get it. They become inspired and they say, I've been motivated. I watched the show and I became inspired to write my book. And their adversity was people telling them, you're not going to be able to write the book, no one's going to read it. But then they watch the show and they feel like, you know what, he's doing it and he's saying he can do it, I want to do it. And I've gotten that from people in variety, from Brussels, from Japan, from Jordan, from Kentucky, Louisiana, California, Barbados, Malaysia. People reach out to me from all over, inspired by what they see, and they tell me, you know what, now I feel like I can become that musician that I wanted to be, or I can become that artist that I wanted to be. Or, now I don't think it's so bad to, I can become that vegetarian. I can do whatever it is I want to do, because we talk about a lot of things. And my goal is for my people to understand that, your life is your life. And everybody has adversity. But how you handle it and how you bounce back is what's most important. So my thing is, in urban America, what do you think is our most adverse situations? What do you think some of the most adverse situations that we in urban America have to deal with?
There's a lot.
Give me three. There's
a lot. Definitely cultural, differentiation. People I don't think that people respect other cultures.
True.
They feel like my culture's better. There's always kind of a pedestal that one culture is better than the other.
Right.
In a country where there are so many, people who come here from so many backgrounds to a land where it could be cultural diverse.
Right.
To me, we should be benefiting from that. I mean, we should be in a country where, people speak more than 3 languages,
right.
And they've experienced different things as far as the kind of food they eat, the activities that they play, and the sports that they're exposed to. But we're not in a society like that. We're in a society where this culture does one sport. For example,
right.
There's kind of like the stereotype of the Latins do the soccer,
right.
And you have the Americans who do the baseball,
right.
the African Americans who do the basketball, and it's such a stereotype,
right.
And it's because
right.
no one has accepted that. I would say that a second one is being creative. I think that there's so many people out there who are creative, and then there's others who aren't. And I think sometimes it becomes an envious thing. It's like,
Definitely.
I work 9 to 5. I don't understand how you can become an artist. And whatever your art is,
Right.
And me as an artist myself, it's very hard. It's very hard. And it's a struggling life. So, a lot of people say they get paid too much money, but you struggle for a long time as an artist.
Question.
Whereas, in the conventional world, it's more the safe side.
Right.
You can go to school and work.
Exactly.
And you feel, as what they call normal.
Right.
So, I mean, that would be my 2. See if I can think of any other ones. The school you go to.
Definitely. I was going to say
I
school.
mean, education is a big thing in our country, definitely a profit-making thing.
Sure.
And then you have kids who get jobs just because of what school they go to.
Right.
And then you have other college students who come out and they have to work so hard because maybe they came from a university that wasn't, top-notch.
Definitely.
So, I mean,
Definitely.
there's a lot.
And that's struggle and strength. You find strength, struggle in being accepted by society's norms. You find struggle in being able to secure employment after coming out of college, because a lot of people still, the old adage, go to school, get a good job, and everything is going to be gravy. And that, to me, is like subconscious adversity, because in your mind, you're creating adverse situation because you're thinking, I'm going to go to school. And then when you come out of college, you can't find a job. Then you have individuals start to feel like, I wasted my time in college and all this money. And then the people who haven't gone to school hear that and they see that and they go, I ain't trying to go through that struggle. I don't need to be there. But the reality is, I'm not going to say college is for everybody, but I will say this. Education is essential for everyone's prosperity. School, self-education, however you want to take it. But education will surely help alleviate some adversity. A lot of people's adversity is just having enough money to survive.
Right.
Having enough money to put food on the table. But a lot of that comes from not being prepared or not being educated, And a lot of people say, I can't afford to go to college. Here's a news flash. The poorest people can go to college the easiest. It's the people in the middle who have to struggle. If you have a lot of money, you're not worried about college costs. There's no struggle there. Your strength is, I'm financially fit, so that's not a problem. When you're poor, your struggle is, well, I'm poor. But your strength is, as far as academia, I'm poor. So I can get the aid that I need if, in fact, I put the effort in and I put the work in.
Right.
But when you're in that middle, your struggle is compounded because, you're expected to be able to take care of yourself, or you should be able to, or who knows what they expect from the middle class. I have no idea. But I know the middle class is surely shrinking. And either you're going to become the upper echelon, or you could become the impoverished. It's really that simple. We got about 4 or 5 more years, y'all. We better get it together. Believe me when I tell you.
And it's that again would be determined by your strength or your struggle, and how you turn around that. If you see your struggle as a negative thing, then your weakness will be that. So let's talk about within the bottom.
I like to talk about what it is. Your adversity is your struggle or your strength. So let's say if you're going through adverse situations. What's some suggestions, maybe there's a young girl, 21, 22, 3 years old, and she's going through a struggle or she's going through some adversity, and she hasn't determined whether it's able to make her stronger or is it going to defeat her. What's some suggestions you might give to someone who's struggling, how to turn their struggle into their strength, their adversity into their strength?
Well, I would definitely first show them the proof that there's always someone else worse off.
No question.
Always. No matter how bad you think it is, there's always somebody else out there that has it worse than you do. So you can kind of look at your situation in a way as being, well, it's not that bad, and I can go somewhere from it. The second thing would be just to think outside the box. You definitely have to step outside of your comfort zone sometimes. And I think stepping outside of your comfort zone and meeting people and, networking just in a social way, not networking for a particular purpose. Like a lot of people network, in the music industry to get to know people, or they do it for financial reasons. But sometimes just getting out socially and meeting people, that's when the opportunities come along. You meet someone who you didn't even expect to meet. So I think that's definitely two of the things that, I would encourage somebody to do. And then from there, I would just encourage that person to talk about it.
Exactly.
Don't hide it because you feel like, I can't tell anyone that because then people may see me as being weak, or, I don't want people to know that about me because I don't want them to know the true me, or, when you hide it and you actually start to believe it. No one else is thinking about it.
And that's
everybody else has their own issue.
And I'm so glad you said that, because I think we all do that when we're dealing with adverse situations. And I have to be honest, even myself, when I deal with a situation that, may seem to, be adverse or definitely can create adversity, you start to kind of not beat yourself up, but you make more of it than it probably actually is, because for some reason we seem to feel like adversity is a badge on our face. Look at me, I'm going through it. People only know what you tell them. They have no idea whether your life is good or bad, only based upon your look, the way you look, the way you carry yourself, the way you govern yourself, the way you think about yourself. So for me, I always look like life is gravy because I always feel like I'm in a positive mood. I'm always looking for the top thing. And like I said, adversity to me is just a condition. It's a situation, and it's how you're going to have it. For me, I like to think about your strength. Your strength is in knowing that there's nothing that you can't do, irrespective for me. Your strength is find the people, like you said, find people that can satisfy your lack with substance. Most adversity comes from, struggle, stress. I don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't have that support, like we talked about. It's all about positioning yourselves with people who can alleviate adverse conditions, i.e., if you need to study, you need to pass a major exam, whether it's a GMAT, an LSAT, or just a ELA, If you're not prepared, you might look at that as an adverse situation, like, that's a struggle for me. This is going to be a struggle for me to get through this. Well, how do you satisfy that struggle? You satisfy that struggle by trying to go at it by yourself, or do you position yourself with people who are more knowledgeable in that area, who are experienced in that area, who have gone through that same adversity and have come through it strong and now can provide you with the essential elements to help you get through that?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's how I like to look at it.
It's the same as, like saying, that's when I say you have to come outside of your comfort zone. Maybe you are the lonely person.
Right.
And, you got to kind of suck it up. I've definitely been there where I felt like, I was the best student in a certain subject, and I get to a challenging part of that subject. Of course, as you keep progressing in your educational career, you get higher and higher. You do a higher level course. You go to another higher level course. And I actually had gotten to a point where I was like, wow, I have no idea what's going on, in this particular course. And I went to tutoring, and I was like, I've never been to tutoring in my life. What am I doing here?
Right. You start to feel
but it was beneficial.
Sure it was.
I didn't feel comfortable at first. I had to step outside of my box and say, Shayla, don't, you can't make it seem like your pride is too much
like
to ask for some help.
Exactly.
Right. It's definitely ask for help. And I'm the type of person that, it takes a lot for me to ask for help. But sometimes you have to suck it up and,
I think, and that's most people. I think most people want to, because we all quest to be independent. I want to be able to do it myself, be self-sustaining. But the reality is we all need help sometimes. Every person needs help, no matter who you are, what you're going through, whether you're rich, poor, black, white, tall, short, good-looking, unattractive, whatever that may be. Everybody needs help, and you can't be ashamed, because the reality is most people want to feel like, they want people to feel like, oh, I know everything, or I can do whatever it is I need to get done. And I think that we sometimes, for me, a lot of us in urban America, we are our own greatest adversities. We put so many obstacles and roadblocks and barriers in front of us and around us, that intangible, that they prevent us from moving further and progressing, thus intensifying our struggle. So now we create adverse conditions subliminally that create internal struggles. And if you have an internal struggle, externally it's going to be hard for somebody to fix that. But you have to be able to recognize that let it go. I'm really one that's an advocate of let it go. Put it in God's mailbox, talk about it, pray on it, don't think about it, whatever the case may be. But the reality is, we just, I just love the fact that your life is limitless, So why would you limit it by putting, yourself in a box, or in yourself in a bubble, or not reaching out to people that can benefit you or that can help you? It's just really important, because to me, I think many times, society creates adverse situations, but I look at urban communities and I talk to kids and I talk to people and I talk to parents, and we create adversity. I'm like, you know what? I understand what your situation is, but that adversity that you're going through, unfortunately, I can't fix that. That's something that you have to believe within yourself that you can overcome that. You have to know that you have the conviction, and I should say, and the credentials and the credence to overcome whatever that particular adversity is that's being thrust upon you.
That also, it makes me think about, like you mentioned, the support. You have to look for support outside. And a lot of people see us looking at support as, oh, I need someone to be there for me. But they don't necessarily know what type of support it is they need. So they feel like there's this one type of support that's out there, and it isn't. The support you may need may be mental, it may be financial, it may be physical. Maybe you just need someone to give you a hug. Sometimes you don't need to talk.
Right, you just
need a hug.
Right.
It may also be laughter. Sometimes if you have that person who's very joyous and all the time, and you probably don't have any idea like why are you always so happy. I don't feel like laughing today, but they still make you laugh.
Right.
Support can be in any form or factor. So definitely don't be blindsided by anything and see like, oh, this person's annoying me. Sometimes maybe that person that's annoying you, it's because you're ignoring them, and you have to really stop and listen to what they're saying, or pay attention and observe what they're doing. And it may take you outside of what you're thinking in your mind and take time off of it, take the stress away for a little bit, because now you're not aware of whatever all those problems are that's in your head. You're just paying attention to all these other things in your life. Activities, can do that as well. A lot of people see activities as being cliche,
Right.
Oh, you do yoga, or you meditate, or you go to the gym, or you do arts and crafts in your house, or you take time out to go to homeless shelters. I mean, people, sometimes when others say that, you're thinking like, oh, that's so cliche, yeah, community service. But it helps, that person may be going through something you may not know, and them doing that takes their mind off of it, and therefore, they get over their struggle and they use it as a strength.
Very important. We talk about adversity. Is it your strength? Is it your struggle? And you can see it both ways. You may agree with what myself and Ms. Shaila has had to say. This has been a very good conversation. But the bottom line is this. We all go through adversity. We all have struggles. We all have strengths. Every person is equipped with the strength to overcome the adversity. I'm not going to say it's easy, but trust me, if you're an entity breathing, you are equipped with it. It's just a matter of you situating yourself with the right people, as Shaila said, the right environment, believing in yourself, putting faith in yourself, and recognizing that my struggle is only going to make me stronger if I work to overcome it. As always, you've been watching the Urban Wall Street Project. Adversity. Let's do away with it. It's going to be here forever. Turn that struggle into a strength. Turn that negative into a positive. Turn that pessimism into optimism. And your life might turn out the way you want it to be, or at least it'll put you on that path. I want to thank my guest, Ms. Shaila Tyler.
Thank you.
I want to thank you all for watching. You know how we do this every week. Call to action. I want my people right now. Check out the show. Call us. Email us. Information is at the back of the show. You can check us out on our channel, UrbanWallStreet.tv. Let me know what you think. Let me know about topics. But I want to build a major alliance for all my viewers. So my call to action to everyone, reach out to the Urban Wall Street Project. Let us know you're here. Let us know what you want to talk about, what you want to hear about, what you want me to cover. We're going to make it happen. As always, stay prosperous, be mindful, keep peace in your heart, stay positive. See you next time.